part of my journey was taking or being granted custody of my son through the child support system. So being able to kind of combat, and as in my words, I would say beat the system in order to get custody of my son and give him a better life. Going through that system, and I felt like there was a need to tell the story because I knew it was a lot of guys out there. I knew guys that had custody of their kids, but it wasn't a conversation that was being had.
Right.
It wasn't something that people hurried about because the father actually beat the system. It was kind of more so like, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to nurture the kid? You're not a mother, and you don't have those maternal instincts.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of that conversation that I was noticing. And at one point in time, I was on another podcast and we were having, difficult conversations about what's happening in the world and everything. And then when that podcast fell apart, I was invited to another podcast and I didn't really like how they were organized. So I kind of walked away from it. And then my mom came to me and said, well, why don't you start your own podcast? And I was like, nah, I really don't want to do that. She was like, well, you got the gift of gab. You love to talk. And I was like, wait, what? I don't like to talk. Like, who does that?